to do some webtoon recommendations. Okay, so first one. I'm currently reading one called The Devil is a Handsome Man. It's pretty good. Pretty good. There's a lot of Paradise Lost references in there and like religion stuff, but it takes place in a world where humans don't exist, but like Lucifer already fell from heaven, but so like yeah, there's heaven and hell, but they're just two different worlds per se. The devil doesn't have a face, but he's a handsome man. My favorite character, I don't even know. I like Val a lot. Val is the like head of security. So kind of like a detective in a way. He's badass. People who don't like mentions of like PTSD, death, don't like violence, don't like mentions of depression or anxiety, or don't like seeing anxiety attacks or panic attacks or stuff, shouldn't read that. Next one, Devil Number 4. Good one, very good. I totally recommend. 10 out of 10 would recommend. What? Okay. Out of all the characters we've met so far in that story, I think Devil Number 4 is my favorite. And all I want to say is Devil Number 4 and Hannah deserve each other. It's a fact. Facts, violence, and death. I don't think there's really anything. I don't really think there's any major death. I think Devil Number 4 is pretty clean, I guess. I don't know, you probably could find trigger warnings. Next one, Blue Chair. Relatable comic. It's a slice of life thing, so it's kind of just random stories, really. But I think it's really good. It's kind of cute. Some of the things, like, you know, Formless Bob, that came on. Formless Bob. Love Formless Bob. You know, he has his battles with life and death and his motivation and all, like we all do. Rebirth. Okay, I'm trying not to give spoilers, it's kind of hard. A guy comes back from being in a apocalyptic world, and he comes back and he's like, oh, the apocalypse hasn't happened yet. Why am I still here? Why did I come back? Time travel's a thing. He goes on to basically mess up the timeline. Timeline's all screwed up. Everything isn't going as planned, and people have superpowers because, you know, apocalypse and apocalypse. The apocalypse. Basically everyone else is like zombies. I don't know, I think they're called the undead, but there's zombies. Favorite character is, I think his name's Neo. He's a little mysterious, angsty teenager. What's not to love about angsty teenagers, you know? Also, he has a lot of secrets, and I need to know more, and he has a dog. Next one, Weak Hero. I started this comic like 3 days ago, and I finished it. No, I'm not like finished it, but like caught up to where they are right now. Other night, I was reading it at like 2 a.m. I was crying my eyes out. I like couldn't. I was like, this kid, this Protect Champ. His name's Gray. He's been through so much emotional trauma. Like, it's crazy. I don't. It's gonna be a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say it. Like what happened to him, but made me cry at 2 a.m. I'll just say that. Favorite character is Alex. Don't know. He's just a boy with some anger issues. Kind of underrated. I do like Gray a lot too. Gray's different. You know, he's smart. He's the only like fighter that actually in like the story where there's revolves around like gangs and stuff. He's the only one who actually uses his brain for things. Like he thinks about the movements. Like he'll like see someone shift his elbow, their shoulder, and then he'll be like, oh, they're gonna punch with that hand or something. So like, he's his brain. I didn't give a summary of the story. Basically, it revolves around high schoolers that are in like this gang in Japan, I think. There's like different high schools, and there's the district gang thing, gangs, high schools fighting. It's good. It's really good. I would recommend it. Weak Hero, definitely violence and death. Also so much cursing and PTSD or like anxiety and stuff. Okay, I started this one like last week, but it's called Purple Hyacinth. It is so good. I love it so much. Basically, it's about the two main characters in the story. One of them she's a police officer, more like a patrol officer. She a human lie detector. She can like sense when people are lying. The other main character is an assassin for Phantom Scythe. Yeah, Phantom Scythe is like this big bad rebel group, almost rebel group. They're just against the monarchy. They're like assassins. They do robberies, they do terrorist attacks, stuff like that. And these two, they work together, and it's so great. I can't say like anything about it because a lot of the stuff I can say is just kind of spoilers. I just think it's like really good, like really good. Really good. And I love the art for it too. I love the art for all the comics that I'm reading. Favorite character is definitely Kieran, our assassin boy, blue-eyed, black-haired assassin boy. Kieran leaves a flower, the purple hyacinth flower, whenever he murders someone, you know, because he's an assassin. And that flower actually means I'm sorry. And he also like admits that he regrets it. Purple hyacinth warnings, death, violence, gore, maybe anxiety, maybe PTSD. Next one is Down to Earth. Basically, hot alien anime girl falls from the sky in her spaceship, and goth boy finds her, and now they're living together. But there's rules. They made house rules. One of them is no falling in love. But we all know that's gonna be broken because hot anime alien girl like Starfly and goth boy who works at Spencer's, like, what do you think is gonna happen? Next one, Blue Eyes. These teenagers, they need all the help they need. Main thing is it's about a kid. Tobias has so much wrong. I think I got a screenshot of like his main description. I'll just like put it there. He's been raised by an extremely religious family who they have a lot of kids. I think it's in the 20s, and I think Tobias is one of the oldest ones, but he's also the most abused out of all the kids, I think. He has like a demon inside him, Mr. Edbird, I think, who kind of like controls him and takes over him sometimes. He acts completely different and then he doesn't remember any of it. Yeah, that's like the main story of it. He meets Rudy along the way. Rudy's adorable. I love Rudy. It makes me feel sad sometimes when I read it. It's really good though. It's really good. I would really recommend it. Main trigger warnings: death, violence, bullying, PTSD, probably, anxiety, depression, bunch of mental illness stuff. It's a lot. This story is pretty heavy, even though like the artwork's like really like kind of innocent, kind of. Okay, next one. Lumen is a werewolf boy. He's a little werewolf boy. Basically, Lumen is hired to be the bodyguard for Cody, who's a witch boy who is big depression, and it's their story. Another thing is I love Lumen's eyes. Love them. Protect these kids, please. Next one, Lower Olympus. It's Persephone's and Hades' story retold to make Hades not look like the bad guy, basically. If you read Lower Olympus, we all know who we hate. And I want to punch him in the face. We love Persephone. She is adorable. Adorable little girl, but she's naive because she's never been. At Olympus, she's lived with her mom her whole life. She's a fertility goddess. Then she goes to Olympus, and now she has to be like a maiden goddess. That's how she got into like school and everything. It's kind of hard for her because she kind of likes Hades, and Hades kind of likes her. Eros is amazing. Love him. So is Hermes. Hecate is also a great character. I really recommend it. It's really good. Especially if you like Greek mythology, which is something I really love. So, kind of love it. And it's all accurate, which is amazing. Oh, I forgot trigger warnings for that story. Sexual abuse, violence, emotional abuse. Next one, it's called Ghost Teller. I love the Grim Reaper in this. The Grim Reaper, my favorite character. One of my favorite characters, actually. There's a lot of good characters in this. Having like a therapy session. So it's ghosts telling ghost stories. Ghost stories to ghost are human stories. So it's like about how humans are corrupt beings and all. And most of the stories are about ghosts in their previous life. And it's like the Grim Reaper's having a therapy session for them, and like they're trying to discuss the problems and be like, oh, maybe they should have done this and not have been an insane human being. Most of the times the ghosts are the victims, but other times the ghost isn't the victim. Like, one of my other favorite characters, I don't know his name, but he's Clown Boy. He comes in season 2. I like the ghost of him. The actual one of him, I feel bad for him. He needed money, got it by basically hurting himself, accidentally killed himself, and he died. And then he's this crazy ghost. Yeah, trigger warnings, definitely death, gore, a lot of various mental illnesses, and abuse, etc. There's a lot. It's very heavy and dark, so don't read it if you can't take it. Next one, Castle Swimmer, the Beacon, or as we learn, his name's Kappa. He basically has to fill prophecies. Like, there's something in him that pulls him to prophecies. All he wants to do is go to the surface and be free from something that's pulling him to these prophecies. So he's pulled to the Nation of the Shark, which they have a prophecy. It's a huge story. I don't want to give any spoilers. Read it if you want to know all about it. Basically, you meet the prince of that nation named, I think, Siren, and Kappa and Siren become really close, and I love them both. Yeah, go read it. This is another really heavy one. I'll say trigger warnings about it after, but Uriah, basically about a boy who ends up in the middle on an island. He doesn't know how he got there. He wakes up in a car and he's like, how'd I get here? He has no memory of anything beforehand, but he slowly is getting his memory back as he goes. You meet another character, don't remember her name. She's a badass, I'll say that. There's a lot of heavy stuff. It's a lot of PTSD and a lot of anxiety and a lot of murder and a lot of blood and cannibalism. It's very heavy, but it's and dark, but it's so good. I would recommend it. I really recommend it. Okay, next one. 1 HP Club. It's D&D. That's all. Just basically a bunch of friends playing D&D. Unordinary's next. All I'll say is I want to punch John in the freaking face. It's called Glacius. Glacius. It is about a world where dragons exist, but dragons are hated by man because, you know, dragons are dragons and humanity thinks dragons are evil. Except for the boy, Juka, who was raised by a dragon himself. Juka now has a dragon of himself, and he's like the only human who kind of likes dragons. His own dragon is like a water dragon, I think. I love Juka. I love Juka so much. Yeah, so basically it's just like his adventure and like trying to get dragons to be accepted in society. And his whole goal is to make the city Glacis, where it's just a village or like town that uses dragons and like is friendly with dragons. And that's basically the whole story. I love the art style and I love Juka. That's all I'm gonna say. This story is the only one I think on this list that is actually like a completed story. It's called Hooky. Yeah, so watching these kids, Danny and Dorian, grow up from missing the bus to school to becoming to the two most powerful people. It's just all about how witches and humans don't get along. I don't know what else to say except that I love all these characters and I would die for any of them. 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend. Violence, main character death in general.